coming off the game with 7 threes, but she's showing off the...
Caitlin pushes the ball up and then takes it to the middle, and Mo Billings is over here. Don't lose sight of her. Caitlin's not even looking at Mo, but trust, she knows exactly where she is. Look at that. She's got 3 defenders on her because she demands so much attention, which is why she makes it.
That move right there. That's the moment a commentator stopped the broadcast, got off his couch, and declared the entire league on notice. Caitlin Clark drives into Jade Melbourne, absorbs the contact, finishes through her, and flexes. And the man calling the game said 2 words that should terrify every coach in the WNBA. It's over.
I mean, when I watch Caitlin Clark play, particularly lately, I feel like we are watching in real time what other people will learn about as the history of women's basketball. She is so good, and it's not just the logo threes.
This is Adrian Ross breaking down Sunday's 89-78 Indiana Fever win over the Seattle Storm. But this isn't a typical game recap, because what's happening in Indianapolis right now is something the league hasn't seen before. Clark dropped 21 points, 10 assists, and 7 rebounds while playing on tired legs after 3 games in 5 nights. And the stat that should make every general manager nervous is the one buried at the bottom of the box score.
Is highlighted. There are other highlights of various players, but I want to just show this because, like I said, it's over. Oh, by the way, you kind of forget to point out some of these historical things because there are just so many. But it says 12th career game with 20+ points and 10+ assists for Caitlin.
12 career games with 20+ points and 10+ assists. 2 more than any other player in WNBA history. And she's done it in essentially 1 full season of basketball because her rookie year ended early and her second year was lost to injury. Think about that. The all-time record for elite double-doubles in this league, set by a player who has barely been on the floor.
Caitlin makes this move in the paint. I called it a Euro first, but when I went back and saw it, it's not a Euro step, but it's a step, all right. A step to the basket. But I get up and I do my couch run and I come back and I say to the people in the chat, I'm saying, it's over. And that's what I said. I'm like, it's over. Did I mean the game was over? No, didn't mean the game was over. I mean, it's over because with Caitlin shooting threes, Caitlin now attacking the basket in a way we have.
And this is the part the rest of the league hasn't caught up to yet. The book on Caitlin Clark used to be simple. Pick her up 94 feet, crowd her at the 3-point line, force her to give up the ball. That book is now useless, because the player who used to be defined by logo threes is now attacking the rim, absorbing contact, and finishing through bigger defenders. Watch any Fever broadcast this season, and you'll see something the scouting reports from last year completely missed.
And I've said this before, and I'm saying it again. This is why you can't try to make her a 1-trick pony or even a 2-trick pony. She has too much potential. And now, what do you do? What do you do if she's if she's true to form and what the scout says? You got to play her close. So now you play her close so she can't hit the 3. And what does she do? She drives to the basket. So then you back up off of her because you don't want her to drive to the basket. And then what does she do? She takes the 3 that she loves to take, right? So then you try to go 94 feet, which not.
Here's the defensive nightmare nobody wants to talk about. Play her tight, she drives. Back off, she pulls from 35 feet. Trap her at half court, she finds the open shooter. Switch the screen, she posts the mismatch. There is no answer that works for a full 40 minutes. Sophie Cunningham added 17 off the bench on 5 of 9 shooting. Kelsey Mitchell dropped 17 of her own. The team shot 100% from the free throw line. 22 for 22. That's not a hot night. That's a team operating at championship efficiency.
That all the points had come from inside the paint. And then Caitlin had hit a 3. And then that was like the first basket that out of many that wasn't at the paint. So I'm going to go over to ESPN.com and we're going to look at that shot chart again. I just want to look at the first quarter and then we'll look at all the quarters in one graphic. Here we are in the first quarter. I want you to look over here on the right side. You see my pointer. This is the Indiana.
And the shot chart tells the real story. In the first quarter, Indiana scored 32 points to Seattle's 19. Almost every basket came directly at the rim, not jumpers, not contested pull-ups, rim attacks. This is the part of Clark's game that nobody projected coming out of Iowa. She's become a downhill ball handler who gets to her spots, draws contact, and finishes. The mid-range game, the floater, the step-through, all of it is now in the toolbox.
And you had Flaugier with 14 points, but her shooting percentage was 3 for 14, not good, 0 for 4 from 3. And she added 6 rebounds to that. Then you've got Jade Melbourne with 12 points. So let's get on 13 from Zia Cook. Now, and they only shot 35% from the field, 26% from 3, and 81% from the free throw line. Indiana, 8 points from Hines Allen, who is turning out to be really good for the team. Yes, she has some plays that you're going like, okay, come on, MHA, but then.
Now look at what's happening around her. Ari McDonald, 3 of 3 from the field, 6 rebounds, 4 assists. Monique Billings setting screens that are putting Storm defenders into the second row. Lexi Hull starting and bringing immediate defensive energy. Raven Johnson played 17 minutes, didn't score a single point, and was arguably the most impactful defender on the floor. There's a possession where she guards 3 different Seattle players on the same trip and ends it with a block. This roster has depth that the rest of the league underestimated.
There's like 4 games in 8 nights or 8 days, whatever it was, just a lot. They played Wednesday night in Los Angeles, and so it was late in terms of body clock for Indiana. That was Wednesday night, and then they won that game, and then they had to play on Friday night, and that was the overtime loss to the Washington Mystics, and Caitlin Clark played almost 38 minutes out of 45 in overtime. And then they played again on Sunday. And so Caitlin has said prior to the game on Sunday that she was sore from playing so many minutes. And so such a good thing that they had enough of a lead to allow themselves to rest.
And the schedule makes this win even more impressive. 4 games in 8 nights. Indiana played Wednesday in Los Angeles, late tip-off, West Coast body clock. Then Friday night against the Washington Mystics, an overtime loss where Clark logged nearly 38 minutes in a 45-minute game. Then Sunday against Seattle. Clark herself said before tip-off that she was sore. And she still went out and posted a 21-10-7 line while playing only enough minutes to put the game out of reach and let her starters rest in the fourth quarter.
Cook, and then she has Hines Allen over here, and Mo says, I'll just take this pass to the rim.
The game was 7 threes, but she
goes on the reverse side.
She's showing off the vision here. Strong, she'll want that one back. Billings pulls down the rebound for Indiana. Clark from way downtown. She gets it to go.
She shot that from the future. Mo Billings with that rebound. Outlets to Caitlin. And then look.
Let's talk about this play specifically. Mo Billings grabs the rebound, outlets to Clark, and Seattle's defender steps off. The question every analyst should be asking is simple. What kind of defense is that? They know she's a shooter. They know she's pulling from the logo. And they still gave her this much space. Why? Because the alternative is worse. Step up on her and she drives past you for a layup. There is no good option anymore.
There's a lot to work on. The defense has to improve. But some of this stuff is just a beauty to behold and to enjoy, and real fans are enjoying what we're seeing, even in the midst of saying, Dia, because I'm yelling throughout the whole game, okay, Dia, rotate, blah, blah, blah. But I'm also screaming with what we see, and it's not just Caitlin, of course, but I had to start with her because again, what we're seeing is not just run-of-the-mill, typical third season player for a season who barely played, for a player who barely played in.
And here's what makes this team's current record so misleading. The Fever are sitting at 500 through 4 games, 2 wins, 2 losses. But those 2 losses combined were by a total of 5 points. Both games were winnable in the final minute. We could very easily be talking about an undefeated team right now, instead of a team that's still finding its rhythm with a new coach and a new system. The defense has gaps that need closing. The fourth quarter against Seattle was won by the bench 20-12, which is something the coaching staff has to address even when starters are resting. There's still rotation issues. There's still moments where the ball sticks and the offense bogs down. None of this analysis is suggesting Indiana is a finished product. They're not, but the ceiling on this team is the highest in the league, and it's not particularly close.
She gets it to go! A rounded down for Caitlin Clark from 35 feet.
And this is the one I came back from the couch run saying it's over.
Clark, the hesitation. Driving into Melbourne, draws the foul, throws it in. A flex of the biceps.
That's the and one. Melbourne's on her. Caitlin absorbs the contact and finishes. And we know that Caitlin hit the free throw because the entire team was 22 for 22.
Here's the comprehensive picture of where this league actually stands as we move deeper into the 2026 season. The player at the center of Indiana's offense is breaking historical records on a timeline nobody anticipated. 12 career games with 20-plus points and 10-plus dimes. The previous record holder needed substantially more games to get there. Clark hit this mark while missing significant time across her first 2 seasons. The implication is staggering. If she plays a full healthy slate, the records she sets are going to require asterisks just to explain the gap between her and second place. The Seattle Storm have legitimate talent. Erica Wheeler, Skylar Diggins-Smith, Nneka Ogwumike. This is a playoff roster with veteran experience, and Indiana ran them off the floor in the first quarter by 13 points before Seattle could even adjust. Indiana shot 46% from the field, 24% from 3, and a perfect 100% from the free throw line. 22 of 22. That's not luck. That's discipline at the line under pressure, and it's something this franchise didn't consistently do last season. Now consider the context that makes Sunday's performance most impressive. The Fever were without starting center Aaliyah Boston, who left the previous game with a lower leg injury. That's a top 3 player at her position in this league. A 2-time All-Star. The reigning Rookie of the Year from 2023. And the team won going away without her. Boston was visibly mobile on the bench, which suggests this isn't a long-term absence. But the fact that Indiana didn't need her to handle a quality opponent says everything about how this roster has been constructed. Sophie Cunningham coming off the bench was a coaching decision that paid off twice. First, it allowed Lexi Hull to start and set the defensive tone from tip-off. Second, it kept Cunningham's energy in reserve for the moments Indiana needed a spark. 17 points on 9 shots. That's elite efficiency from a 6th player. Most teams in this league don't have a player of that caliber starting, let alone coming off the bench. Kelsey Mitchell added 17 more on 18 shot attempts. The volume is high. The efficiency could be better. But the role she's playing as a secondary scorer next to Clark is exactly what this team needs from her. When defenses overcommit to Clark, Mitchell punishes them. When Mitchell gets switched onto a slower defender, Clark finds her in rhythm. The 2-guard combination is becoming one of the most dangerous backcourts in the league. Raven Johnson is the player nobody is talking about enough. 17 minutes, 0 points, 3 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 block. The box score doesn't capture what she's doing. She's a defensive disruptor with what one coach called go-go gadget arms. She switches everything. She communicates. She closes out without fouling. Coaches around the league are going to start specifically game planning to attack her, and the early returns suggest that's not going to work either. Here's the part that should concern every team chasing Indiana. This is the worst version of the 2026 Fever we're going to see. Boston isn't fully healthy yet. The new offensive system is still being installed. The rotations are still being figured out, and they're already at 500 with 2 losses by a combined 5 points. By July, this team is going to be operating at a completely different level. The schedule does them no favors in the short term. Multiple back-to-backs, West Coast trips, travel that the league still hasn't solved at the structural level. But Clark managed all of that on Sunday and still posted a near triple-double on tired legs. That's the kind of resilience that separates contenders from pretenders. The deeper basketball point is this. We're watching a player redefine what the position can look like in this league. The combination of range, vision, ball handling, finishing through contact, and pure competitive drive doesn't have a recent comparison. The closest historical reference would be Sue Bird's playmaking combined with Diana Taurasi's shot-making. Except Clark is doing it as a third-year player who has barely played 100 career games. For the league itself, this is the opportunity of a generation. Ratings are up. Attendance is breaking records in every arena Indiana visits. National broadcast windows are competing for fever games. Expansion teams in 2026 and beyond are being valued at multiples that would have been unthinkable 3 years ago. All of this is downstream from what's happening on the court in Indianapolis. So the question for the rest of the league becomes uncomfortable. How do you stop this team? Because the answer to that question right now appears to be that you don't. You hope they have an off night. You hope the schedule beats them down. You hope an injury opens a window. None of that is a real plan. None of that is a sustainable strategy for an entire season. The Fever play their next game with momentum, with confidence, and with a star player who just told the league through her performance that the version of her game we saw in college and as a rookie was just the beginning. The expansion is real. The mid-range is real. The finishing through contact is real. The defensive playmaking is real. Everything that scouting reports said she couldn't do, she's now doing on a nightly basis. So tell me where you stand. Are the Indiana Fever the clear championship favorite right now, or is there a team in this league that you genuinely believe can beat them in a 7-game series? Because looking at the personnel, looking at the trajectory, looking at the way Clark is expanding her game in real time, I'm having a hard time naming one. Drop the team you think can beat them in the comments. Make the case, because right now, from where I'm sitting, it's over.